One of the key components in achieving any measure of success is to prioritize in the correct order. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. We're going to talk about the importance of prioritizing today, because I didn't think I'd have to talk about this in a pandemic, but obviously I do. And this relates to personal development, because if you want to achieve anything in life, any particular goal, you always have to prioritize. Let me give you some real simple examples. Before anybody learns how to run, the first thing is the baby has to crawl, then the baby has to walk, then the baby starts to trot, then the baby starts to run. Very, very simple. Sometimes, you know, with the baby, you just encourage the baby wants to do it. But sometimes you run into a little bit of opposition. Let me give you an example of that from my days as a basketball coach, and this relates to life as well, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that it does and things that you have to do to overcome it. One of the things that's important as a basketball coach is to make sure that your players can shoot with either their right hand or their left hand. Now, you don't expect a righty to be shooting from downtown with his left hand. You shoot with the right hand. But when you're underneath the basket, you have to be able to use your left hand. Otherwise, you've eliminated a great deal of offense. And you'll notice that anybody that's a pro, they can do either right hand or left hand, or anybody that's even good in college or good in high school. That's one of the things. Now, when I was coaching for our soft team, I always would do, we do a layup line, and people would shoot with their right hands, and then we say, okay, switch it. Now you aren't shooting from the left side. And there were always kids that would shoot from the left side with their right hand. And I would always say to them, you can't do that. You need to shoot with your left hand. But coach, I always can put it in with my right hand. I can't put it in with my left hand. Well, you know what, son? You're going to have to learn how to put it in with your left hand, or you're not going to be a player. It'd be too easy to defend against you. You must know how to shoot with your left hand. So sometimes you will face opposition from somebody that says, well, I can do it better this way. So how did I go about doing that? First, I said to them, you want to be a ball player? You have to be able to shoot with your left hand. So the kids that really wanted to be a ball player, I was inspiring them to shoot with their left hand, and some of them would, and they would all shoot with their left hand, these people that were so inspired. But then there were the hardcore kids that didn't want to miss, and they would shoot with their right hand from the left side. And there's two ways to get people to do something. One is to inspire, and the other is to require. So how did I require them to do that? Very simple. When they were shooting from the left side, I always would say, okay, now we're shooting for the money. And what did that mean? That meant that every time somebody missed a layup, then they had to go, and then the whole team would have to go and run a sprint. Everybody. So, and if you shot the ball with your right hand and it went in, that was a miss. So that was a sprint. So everybody was encouraged / required to shoot with their left hand when they were on the left side of the basket. Guess what happened? By the time the season was ready to start, they could all shoot with their left hand. They didn't want to, but they could all do it. And then when the game time came and there was a ball, they had learned how to do it, and they made themselves better ball players. You follow what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to require. Most of the time, you inspire. How does that relate to our present scenario? Well, right now we're seeing a major spike in some very populous places. And I'll give you an example, and I admire the mayor of Miami for taking this particular action. First of all, people in Florida, please be inspired to wear the mask, wash the hands, social distance, all right? But then, of course, you have the people that don't want to shoot the layup with their left hand because it's not convenient. They know they can shoot with the right hand. Well, guess what happened? We had a major spike in the city of Miami, and now the mayor of Miami has closed the beaches for the July 4th holiday. This is a week before July 4th. What is that saying? That's saying, hey, this is serious. I'm requiring it because it's for the greater good. It's for your benefit, even if you don't see it. It's also for the benefit of everybody around you. How does that relate to the present leadership? Well, last night there was a executive order coming down about how I'm going to prosecute to the full extent of the law anybody that messes with these statues, okay, taking down the statues. Now, I'm not particularly in favor of that. I'm not particularly against it. You know, I can certainly understand both points of view. You know, history is history on the one hand, and on the other hand, you know, this is history that promotes the wrong thing. I can understand that as well. And, you know, I understand that. All right, so let me be clear on that. However, under the heading of prioritizing, what is more important right now? That the leader of the free world be focused upon people yanking down some statues? Or doing things to get this pandemic solved? Taking steps, taking actions, requiring people to do the right thing. What the ironic part is that not only are they not requiring people to do the right thing, they're encouraging people to do the wrong thing. When you go to a rally, people yell, people scream, and when you do that, you expectorate. Look that one up, Eli. It means to spit. You expectorate. And what happens when you do that in a crowded area? You start to infect people. Hello? Can we please get our priorities straight? I would say, and you know, I'm just a guy, you know, not particularly smart, but I'd like to think I have a little common sense. I would say that perhaps getting some, you know, ending some civil unrest and eliminating a pandemic that's taking place in the country and helping people economically might be just a little bit higher up on the priority totem pole than worrying about a dead Confederate general statue being ripped down. I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I have my priorities out of order. In order to be successful in any endeavor in life, and I'm using these as just general examples, but they ring true to the success formula. Make sure that you have your priorities straight. Make sure that you have your priorities in order. Clearly, the man that resides at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, his priority is to be reelected. Unfortunately, that isn't what his priority should be right now. His priority should be serving the country. Leaders are there to serve and not to be served. As a leader, don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget that your number one priority is to serve your constituency. And because we will never end a meeting on a philosophical note, a priority is to get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.